I'm Greg Robinson from the board and CEO practice at Blenheim Partners. Since the beginning of the financial year, we have witnessed in ASX-listed companies over 94 CEO appointments, 100 chair appointments, 447 board appointments. Year on year, that is a 23% decrease in CEO appointments, no change in percentage terms in chair appointments, and a 9% decrease in board appointments. However, we anticipate that is all about to change as we approach the financial year end and AGM season. Australian business is leaning into strong headwinds, with federal and state government economic policies leaving business in doubt and uncertainty, encouraging an increasing number of organisations to take their money and invest offshore. 2, relatively high wages compared to many of our global competitors. 3, a high tax burden compared to international and competing markets. 4, a business community drowning in governance and reporting requirements. 5, interest rates that do not look like coming off anytime soon. 6, high energy costs breaking many. 7, a low Australian dollar, which could be good for some, and the leading indicators suggesting that the east coast of Australia is close to being in recession. So how does all this potentially play out in terms of leadership for CEOs and chairs? Some of the challenges they're facing include low productivity. This is very high in every CEO's list. A significant number of CEOs have yet to find their solution with work from home and in office. Whatever the best solution is, it is being argued that it should have been achieved by now, or well on the way. And if it's still some way off, one has to think chairs and boards will have to make some tough decisions. Ultimately, the business is there to achieve returns, and if productivity is not where it can be or at pre-COVID levels, then we anticipate substantial change in the CEO ranks. In the boardroom, we're also seeing greater appetite in undertaking board reviews to examine the skill sets and the value brought to support the achievement of organisational strategy, with a particular focus on board skill set and effectiveness. There is also increased discussion on reducing the amount of board meetings to lessen excessive workloads of executives and also to attract future directors. In terms of appointments, we are seeing an increased demand for directors with operational and P&L ownership, such as ex-CEOs, COOs, and divisional heads. There are also more requests for those with a technology pedigree as the world moves toward the AI revolution. At the executive level, the challenge for the CEO is the loyalty of the staff and retention programs. As a search firm, the speed at which our calls are being returned from senior executives is remarkable. There is a genuine interest for many to investigate or consider other opportunities. There is also the failure of many LTI programs to pay out. So in a large number of our negotiations, we are seeing candidates paying more attention to total fixed remuneration, having lost faith in existing LTI programs. As a result, certain organisations are incentivising those they wish to lock in by separate tenure-based plans, with the hurdle being time served. We're also starting to see a small exodus of executives move offshore. Where certain markets are on a more positive trajectory, a number of senior executives have expressed frustration in leadership, not focusing on high performance and allowing for productivity to fall. Some saying we seem to be going to the lowest common denominator and appeasing them, and as such, deciding to vote with their feet and leaving. We're also seeing an inconsistency of corporate culture with those in the coalface versus those in the office. Now, the flip side to all this is that if you are contemplating restructure and acquiring capability, there is enormous interest from the executive market to explore. A significant number of our current engagements are due to corporate restructures. Interestingly, many of the succession planning programs of organisations don't necessarily meet the requirements of these restructures. More so, they do not track external capability or engage strategically and only have their internal processes, which is leaving them short on understanding the full market and as a result, the opportunity. In regard to international talent, most are taking calls and are happy to engage. There is still real interest in Australia. However, at the top level, with the commercial realities, the low Australian dollar, and high personal tax arrangements, it's making it more challenging generally to attract offshore capability, which leaves us with a relatively tight domestic market for talent, where boards and CEOs are going to have to make some bold calls. If you would like a deeper understanding of what we are seeing across the boardrooms of Australia, please contact the Blenheim Partners Board practice.